I'd like to interview everybody. So who'd like to go first?
Okay.
Why are you here today?
Why am I here today? I'm here
What's so exciting? What's going on?
I'm here in celebration of democracy and decency coming back to the country.
Let's see that sign. Hold that up. Look at that.
Biden and Harris, love Trump's hate. You're fired. You're fired, President Trump. Joe and Kamala are going to bring love back to the nation.
Okay.
And yes, it has. Love has trumped hate.
So, do you believe Joe Biden's going to be able to unify the country?
I absolutely do. If anybody can do it, he can.
Okay.
Yeah, and Kamala is right there. I'm so proud of her.
So, 48% of the country voted for Trump.
Yes.
And Joe Biden, when he was asked by the media 2 months ago on if he could reach out to him, said, quotes, probably not. Is he really going to be able to unify almost half of the country that backed a white supremacist?
I really believe that the House and the Senate coming into almost 50-50, I think that it's going to encourage us to move across the aisle and to work together. And Joe Biden is the person who is calm, and he's actually a functioning adult. So he could probably do that. If anybody can, he could do it.
Okay, so almost half the country votes for Trump, but he's going to be able to unify and pull them in together through his magnetism.
Well, through his calm demeanor and through his faith.
Okay.
You know, I believe in that. I'm a minister and I'm a newly married lesbian. I am so grateful.
Very Californian.
Very Californian. And I'm really, I'm so proud of us. I'm so proud as a nation. 4 years ago, I was in shock.
Sure.
Today, I am proud to say that I am part of this process.
Sure.
And I voted early and encouraged everybody else to.
You're proud to be an American?
Yes, I am.
Okay. In 2016,
Yes.
Hillary won the popular vote.
Yes.
Not the electoral, but the popular vote.
Yeah.
She won by basically the amount of votes here in California.
Right. Yeah.
Fast forward to 2020. Joe Biden won the popular vote and the electoral, but he won largely by the percentage of votes here in California. Which means in 2016 and 2020, outside of our California, a majority of the voters backed the white supremacists. What does that say to you?
I think it's just really unfortunate and sad. I think that it's about fear. If it's not about love, it's about fear. And I think that people get afraid that something is going to be taken away from them. And personally, I don't believe that. I never did. And so it just made me really sad. And it also, being a gay woman, it made me frightened to be in certain places.
Sure.
You know?
Sure. So,
And it made me, I run a church, Unity Spiritual Center of Fresno, shout out, and I'm just really proud of us, and I'm proud that we can embrace all of our congregants, whether they voted for President-elect Biden or not.
Sure. So half the country votes for the bigot in 2016 and then almost does the same thing twice in 2020.
Right.
Still proud to be an American.
Yes, I'm still proud to be an American. I just think that it just shows that people are moving more into fear in certain parts of the country.
Sure.
Because they don't know anything else. It's a lack of education.
Sure.
And so I understand that. And the other thing I'm proud of is I'm Native American, is our Native Americans coming out in force to vote, and 4 new Native Americans being elected to office.
Sure.
In this country right now. And so I can dwell on who voted for Trump, but honestly, today we just want to celebrate.
Sure. Well, yes. So you believe Biden will be able to unify the other half of the country? They'll come around. They'll see the error of their ways.
Yeah, I think some of them will.
Okay.
And even if we get another, even 10%,
Sure.
would be amazing.
Sure.
You know, to be able to understand that the Democratic Party is not pedophiles in a deep conspiracy.
Yeah, in a Pizzagate.
Yeah,
right?
in a Pizzagate, yeah.
That was a little bit silly.
That was a little weird.
That was pretty silly, yeah. So what if the Senate stays conservative? And that means they can't change the Supreme Court, which is now dominated by the conservatives. and that means that they could suspend any legislation that Joe Biden wants to pass and stop any legal challenges that he wants. What is Joe Biden going to be able to accomplish then?
I hope that what he'll be able to accomplish is to help people on both sides learn to compromise. You know, we're not going to be able to change everybody's mind. You just can't. You can't have a battle of wits with an unarmed person.
Sure.
And so what we can do is we can move from division into a little more oneness, even a little bit is going to help. And, you know, this is the next election in 4 years, you know, let's elect Kamala Harris.
Sure.
We'll be ready for that then. We weren't ready for Hillary, right? We weren't ready for Hillary. And so it'll be Kamala, and then it'll maybe be Pete, and it'll be good, you know, because we're going to be able to keep that momentum of inclusion and love and compassion.
Kamala Harris criticized Joe Biden for making compromises with segregationists. It sounds like you're saying Joe Biden should make compromises with segregationists. Am I getting that wrong?
I think that both sides could give a little bit. I don't agree with segregation in any way. I am a bleeding heart liberal.
Me too.
You know, and I think that we're, you know, this isn't perfect, but it's closer, a lot closer.
So Joe Biden is going to have to make compromises with bigots just to pull the country together.
No, I don't think he'll compromise with bigots, because if you're moving on the label of bigot, you're not going to compromise with anybody.
Sure.
But he will be able to compromise with people who are willing to listen and learn.
So compromise with the 48% of the country that backed a guy who said send ethnic minorities back to their shithole countries.
I know. It sucks.
That's who we're talking about, right? I mean, that's who we're talking about. He's going to compromise with them.
Exactly. He is going to talk to them.
Sure.
In a way that is not, hey, I think you're great, and come on and be on my cabinet.
Sure.
He's going to say, now wait a minute, you know, let's educate you. Let's have you talk to more people of color. Let's have you talk to more women. Let's have you talk to more LGBTQ people. And let's see if we can't move your heart just a little bit. I don't think there's any compromising when somebody is using the term bigot.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank
for
you.
coming on. Thanks for supporting me.
Good to see you.
Would you like to, could I interview you? Would you like to be interviewed?
You want to be interviewed?
Either one of you.
All right, go ahead.
So,
This is Marcus.
why are
Hi,
you
Marcus.
here today? What's
Barry.
going on?
What's going on?
Well,
this is historic, man. This is huge.
Why is it huge?
This is huge. I'm a teacher at Fresno City College and Lemoore, and I'm an adjunct professor for communication. And
Congratulations.
And I listen to my students talk about how scared they were, like a couple days ago, right after the day of the election, and when they were making the counts. And I said, I understand, because most of my students are Latinx. You know, they're feeling it, the brunt of what's happened for the last 4 years, more than as a white woman, right? And my black students. And it's just like, this is going to be different. I believe it's going to be different. Is it going to be perfect? No, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be a heck of a lot better than it was. And this man and this woman, they stand for something about human decency, of how to treat people. You know, it's not, I think we need to have a leader that's like that. And for me, I cried this morning. I cried when I got that, like, New York Times, he won, and then I went to the election results and I saw he did really win. And I cried because I've been like holding it in for the last 4 years, just waiting for this to be over with. And to me, it's bigger than Hillary, when Hillary went against Trump. It's bigger than that. Because we've seen now how bad, or this half of the United States, we've seen those old attitudes.
Sure.
They're like old attitudes that don't belong in humanity anymore. They don't belong here. The environment is a real thing. We really need to take care of it. These are real things. Black lives do matter. It doesn't mean other lives don't matter.
Sure.
And they need to stop thinking like that.
Sure.
You know, and people that are immigrants need to be put back with their families.
Sure.
And there's all of that is real. And I think that Biden and Harris, you know, Kamala Harris, I wanted her for president, so I actually voted for her for president. But I think they're going to do something, and I think it's historic, and I think it's going to change. And it's going to be problematic because you have this other side. But the truth is, you know what? It's Marcus, right?
Yes.
Marcus, I'm sick of listening to that other side. I'm sick of the hate. I'm sick of listening to it, and I don't care. Because I'm a gay woman, and I've had to listen to people in my family support this Trump president.
Me too.
Yeah, and support these policies against people. And as a woman, as a woman walking on this planet, we're 50% of the population. Why should we? It's not even this whole thing about wages and all that. It's like this is a null discussion. It should be equal. Period. End of discussion. These kinds of discussions we still have. Black people should be treated right. Bottom line. Immigrants should be treated right. Bottom line. All of these things that we argue about, we shouldn't be arguing about because they're human beings. And so that's why I think it's historic. I know I just ranted.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now I'm going to ask you a little controversial question, so you don't have to answer, not?
Okay.
You said it's going to get better. You said you're talking to young people and you're talking about America and they're scared.
Yeah.
So 2020, Biden won the election and the popular vote in the Electoral College, but he won largely the popular vote by the percentage of votes here in California. Let's go back in time to 2016. Hillary won the popular vote, but largely by the percentage of votes here in California. Which means in 2 elections in a row, a majority of the people of America outside California backed the bigot. How do you tell students to be proud and safe in America knowing that a majority of your fellow Americans in 2 separate elections recently supported the guy who said Mexicans are all rapists?
I don't think we're safe. I don't want to even say that.
What?
That we're safe. I think for me, what I tell them, I always remind them of their responsibility. I said, look, I'm 55 years old, going to be 55 in March. I'm 55. In 30 years, I'm probably going to be dead. This is your world. What do you want? You have to get active. More of my students voted for the first time ever. 18-year-olds went out there and voted. So they're getting, that whole term woke. They're waking up to see that this world belongs to them. And you're right, we're Californians. I'm a Californian through and through.
So am I.
And I definitely have a skewed view of things.
What?
Yeah, I do. Because I have friends who in the South, and I've seen that. But we can't live like this. And we just can't. We cannot treat people. If we don't stop doing this, there is going to be, people talk about that civil war. It's going to happen. That's going to happen.
Yeah, but if I'm just saying, how do you tell a young person, don't worry, believe in the system, be proud. Yeah, I know over half of the population outside of California backed the guy twice in a row, but we can make it all better. How do you convince a young person in a young mind that a majority of their fellow Americans at the popular level backed bigotry 2 elections in a row? Why should they have faith in the system? Why should they have faith in America? Why should they believe that it gets better? As an educator.
The system is not America, first of all. You and I are America. Okay? The system is a part of America, but is not America. Okay. We are America.
Sure.
And they have to feel, it's my job as an educator is to empower them to feel like they matter. That's what I feel like it's one of my jobs.
Sure.
And if they don't make their voice heard, then nothing will change. And I don't know what's going to happen with the middle. I can't speak to that because I don't live there and I don't know those attitudes. I don't live there. I can only speak to who I can influence as an educator here.
Yeah.
For them to have strong voices and to get involved. But we can't be bystanders in democracy. And that is the key. So democracy isn't just the system. It is a way of living. It is a way of the way we live. So we want to have it. We can't stand by and hope it gets better. And I think that's what happened. That's why Mr. Trump became president. It's because people didn't. There was people that didn't like Hillary for various different reasons.
Sure.
You know, and God, most of my students went in Bernie Sanders. Bernie
I feel
Sanders,
California went to Bernie, just personally.
Yeah.
I think he won that election hard.
I love Bernie.
Here.
I mean, his policies are really progressive,
Yeah.
highly progressive, and I really believe in that.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I wish Joe Biden was more progressive.
He said he's not doing health care like Bernie fans want. Thoughts on that?
I think we have to have universal health care. I don't think there's even a choice.
But given that he ran on he's not going to do it and still won, why politically should he bend? He didn't have to get elected.
I don't know. They changed. I mean, they don't always do what they say they're going to do.
Fair enough.
They don't.
Fair enough. Oh, yeah, I'll come right back. Let me interview you real quick before you go.
Had I known that this was going on, okay.
So why are you here today? What's going on?
Well, Biden has been announced to be president, and Kamala Harris, the first female vice president, and I just wanted to come and join with Fresno people to celebrate. And yeah, that's basically the big thing. Just really excited and want to join with other Fresnans in celebrating this victory.
Do you believe Joe Biden is going to be able to unify America?
I think that he really wants. I mean, I think that it will take people. There's definitely going to be challenges with people who interpret what he's doing and resist. But I feel like just even in the couple of statements he's made, he has been focused on. This is a good interruption.
Yeah, it's like that all the time. People are very supportive.
Yeah. There's my friend Des, and she's joining in. I think I believe, like, just in the first couple statements he's made in the last 24 hours, he's been focused on, being the president for everyone and healing and wanting to come together. And I feel like that really is, just from everything I've heard him say over the, in the protests, in the town halls and anything, he's focused on healing and focused on loving all, serving all Americans. So I feel like that he will. I think that we all have to do the work to kind of bring together the divide, and it's not just his work, it's our work, but the way that he has been communicating, I feel like he is. I feel like he's going to do a lot to help us unify and heal.
He's going to be able to bring the 48% that voted for Trump around?
Well, I don't know about that. That's going to be a bit of a challenge because of there's a lot of challenges, especially with the years and years of what Trump has communicated in his divisive messaging. I think it'll be tough, which is why I think that it will take all of us kind of rallying behind working together and trying to bridge that gap. And so I'm not sure. I really don't know right now how Trump supporters will be during this time. They might dig their heels in and fight. But there's, the people who voted accounted for, maybe a third of all voting people and 20% of the nation. So there's so many other people that have, who didn't vote for either one of them. And I feel like we can work together to re-envision how our nation can be and have more hope. And, hopefully, if not them, then, we get to empower those who have felt like they haven't had a voice and felt disenfranchised, and, and hopefully, build something, more healthy and beneficial to the whole nation, regardless of those who are strong Trump supporters.
If the Senate stays conservative and the Supreme Court stays conservative, meaning they can shut down any legislation proposed in any lawsuits, what will Joe Biden be able to accomplish?
I don't know. I feel like there's things that he can communicate, even with, Obama faced a lot of challenges. At one point, wasn't both the the Senate and Congress Republican. I don't remember. It's been a while. It's been so long.
True, but political experts said the 8 years of Obama, not his fault, were the least productive era in congressional history in 80 years.
That's true.
So, is that a good thing?
We do have Congress, and that will make a huge difference. I feel like there'll be a lot of challenges, but hopefully he can work and try to get something accomplished. And I hope that, you know, that just means that we really need to work hard in 2 years to take the Senate, and we're not done yet. We have, you know, a couple of seats that are in a runoff in January, so we have to work hard to, you know, phone bank and support those districts, and hopefully work towards getting, you know, the Senate more, you know, supportive of Biden. So, you know, there'll be challenges with getting things done, but we have this chance, and we have 2 years from now a chance to be able to turn more of the Senate towards Biden, and we just have to, it'll take all of us and not just Biden to do so.
And if the Senate doesn't turn blue and stays red during his entire term, what then?
You know, that's a good thing to think about. I mean, I hope that he'll be able to I hope that just in his policies, in his rhetoric and everything, he's able to accomplish at least, there's things that, I hope that there's things that he can do that will still make a difference, with his, I believe that there'll be a huge difference as far as, his cabinet, people who are making decisions in the executive branch of the government, people getting good people in, a good person in the Department of Education, getting the good person in the EPA. There's things where he can do that. He can, direct ICE and do things to be able to, stop the atrocities that are going on in detention centers. So, I know there's certain things that take the Senate involved, but he can also make a huge difference just in the with the people that are in his cabinet, as well as working with the Congress to accomplish whatever they can through that. And I feel like it's also important how he addresses these things, being able to have the ability to address the people about these things, being able to humanize the people who have been marginalized for years, and hopefully just, I think that he can make a huge difference in society, which would also affect our nation, just in the way that he's speaking about those who who have been marginalized, as well as trying to, communicate with why people in red states are so affected, and be able to possibly bridge the gap with communicating with their needs, while at the same time, protecting our well-being, both with the environment and with rights. So I think that there's things that he can accomplish, even if he's not going to be as effective without, turning the Senate.
So Joe Biden, you have hope, is going to be able to negotiate, reach out to the conservatives who voted for Trump and convince them that they were wrong and come back into the fold.
I don't know necessarily about that so much as being able to reach people in general. Like, there's people, I feel like there is people who maybe, didn't want to vote for Trump, but they were doing it for reasons where that, for things that affect them, and if, they're with their jobs and whatnot. And I feel like possibly, there's people who turned away from Trump after after the debates because, of the things that they heard and things they heard from Trump. And obviously with him not there, then they're just contending with what they believe about Biden. But I feel like there are people who voted for Trump because they felt like overall that was in the best interest of, their communities. And I feel like there's things that he can bridge the gap on. There's certain things that will be really hard with ideology. But I think that there is a chance to be able to, I know that he's not against the things that they're trying to protect as far as jobs and, the well-being of people. We know that he's not, he said he wasn't going to tax people under, 400,000. So being able to see that, him be able to work on bringing the economy out of the state that it is right now will make a difference. And I think that it might not necessarily turn everyone whose ideological beliefs are so strongly aligned with Trump's, but it will make a difference for, those who are there just that voted for Trump just, for a survival, perspective.
You had the 2016 election, and Hillary won that. but she won by the percentage of votes here in California. Then we have the 2020 election, and Joe Biden wins that, but he wins by largely the percentage of votes here in California.
What's that?
So Joe Biden wins the election in 2020, but he wins by the California percentage of votes, not the Electoral College. People here in California pushed him over the top.
Yeah.
Then in 2016, people in California pushed Hillary over the top.
Okay.
What that means is in 2 elections in a row, outside of California, a majority of Americans said that we're cool with the guy who said we're cool with the guy who said Mexicans are rapists. How do you feel about that, knowing that a majority of your fellow Americans outside of California in 2 different elections were willing to side with the guy who said Mexicans are rapists and it's okay to victimize women?
That's really hard. It's been a lot hard for all of us. I think that, even with the leads, a lot of us were crushed that so many Americans were okay with a man who was so hostile towards people just based on, their ethnicity. Not only those who are, who come from Mexico, but, Muslims and other people that he's maligned over this time period. I'm really sad and I'm crushed. I'm crushed that that people, I think we should also, what?
Twice in a row.
Yeah, twice. I think that's hard. I've heard from other people who are part of minority group. Other people that are part of marginalized groups who are like, well, now you guys know what we already know. We may be not surround ourselves with so many people who are so hostile to our other people, but it doesn't mean that's not the reality. So it's sobering. It's sobering that, where we're at. And, I think that it will just take, I'm hoping that, the younger generations and other people that they're, that somehow or another we can make a difference. Unfortunately, that's a really hard nut to crack as far as changing people's beliefs about people. But we have to keep moving forward anyways, even with that, that's been a really discouraging realization, but we have to keep, we have to go on loving the people that are standing up for people who, who needs to be better represented and have their rights, and their humanity, honored regardless of the attitudes of people. And, not, like I said, those who voted aren't the majority of Americans. So it's a high amount and it's sad, but...
It's basically half, twice in a row.
Well, we're talking about votes. The people who didn't vote at all, I add them on too. So I consider that, of all Americans, it's still of all voting Americans, it's about a third of voting Americans, which is still a high amount. But I try to remember the fact that I feel like the majority aren't, the majority of Americans did not vote for him and do not, didn't condone that behavior, even if they didn't vote. And, there's probably reasons why they felt disenfranchised and didn't vote. And we need to, continue to reach out to those people. But I try to fixate on the fact that we don't know how many people it is, but just because half the people who voted for him, it doesn't mean that's half of the Americans.
But we don't have conclusive proof that they don't support him either.
Yeah, that's true. We don't, but so you're right.
I'm just saying we don't, it could go either way. So.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for everything you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the people are reacting to my next door post on this. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the coffee.
Yeah, if you want, there's some more coffee. Would you like to be interviewed? Don't have to be.
No, I'm cool.
Okay. Would you like to be interviewed? You don't have to be.
What is it for?
This is just to document the protest today. We put it up on Protect the Results. That's the group that organized this.
Together.
You don't have to. It's up to you if you want. I just want to make sure everybody gets an opportunity.
Then it's okay. You don't want to? Okay.
Okay.
We won't skip on it. Thank you.
Okay. Would you like to be interviewed? You don't have to be. Okay. All right. Hey, would you like to be interviewed? You don't have to be.
Right, thank you. No, not today.
Okay.
Not today.
Okay.
Thank you so
Sounds
much.
good.
Who are you? Where are you from?
Huh?
What company?
I'm with Protect the Results. That's the group that protested this, that set up this protest. I'm the organizer that put this together. This is mostly because I want to document the protest happened. Fresno media does a horrible job covering progressive events. So I've learned cover it yourself. Then you make sure everybody knows. I don't trust mainstream media to make sure that they know progressives showed up, so I'm doing it myself.
How long are you here?
We were originally going to close at 12, but people keep showing up. So I'll stay till it drowns out a little.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.